Hey guys, welcome to Cigar Church, where our love for cigars and our passion for Jesus come together. And we are here at Burn Lounge by Rocky Patel in Oklahoma City. We're upstairs in the VIP Cove, I think is what they call it. Beautiful little spot. If you're in Oklahoma City, you need to come and visit Burn Lounge. Talk to Elvis. Our next episode, we're going to be interviewing Elvis and doing a tour of Burn Lounge, so make sure you stay tuned for that next week. But if you come here, it's just a wonderful place to come and get a drink, grab a cigar, and sit down and meet some new people. And speaking of new people, we got three lovely ladies right here that we met at Smokelahoma about 6 months ago. And we had a great conversation with them and said, we have got to get you ladies on the show. And so finally get them on the show. We've tried a couple times. Our schedule was off, theirs was, we finally got them here, and we're excited to have them on the show. And so welcome to Cigar Church, ladies.
Thanks for having us. We're happy to be here.
Absolutely. Before we get started, what are you ladies smoking today?
I am actually smoking a Rocky Patel Disciple.
Oh, wonderful cigar. Wonderful cigar.
A couple years ago, and it ricocheted right to the top of my. It's not my all-time favorite. My all-time favorite is a different one, but this is probably a solid.
Don Carlos?
I'm sorry?
We've got an inside running joke. My all-time favorite cigar is the Don Carlos Aniversario.
Okay.
And I kept pumping it up with these guys, and Dan tried one and was like, that's terrible.
I didn't think it was terrible.
How in the world can it be terrible? And then he's finally had another one, and he likes it.
Well, I'm not going to lie. My all-time favorite is the Legal Bravado number 9.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful cigar.
But
Wonderful
this
cigar.
one rides in right at a hard second, because it's got that same rich
She does.
flavor. It's got a nice clean smoke.
Yes.
The flavor goes the entire way. It doesn't fight you.
Yeah.
There's nothing about it I don't like.
Yeah.
And when I really just kind of hang out with this, I can create an amazing ash. I've had an ash
All the way down to the band. Wow.
before I finally had to drop it.
Teach me how to do that.
Yeah.
It's kind of ugly. You'll see it.
Yeah. I've done that on my back patio when nobody's looking. And just even sit back and hold it up because I don't want to drop it. And those are really a good looking cigar too. That darker wrapper, just slightly oily looking, very earthy.
Yes.
Great cigar. What are you smoking?
I am smoking a Rocky Patel white label. I'm more the mild to medium. I don't have a real taste yet for the stronger end of the cigar. I like a cigar I love a Connecticut wrapper. And this is great in the morning with my hot tea, or in the evening with my wine or a little glass of bourbon. It kind of goes with everything. It's just very smooth and creamy, and it is probably my all-time favorite is the white label.
That's wonderful. That's
really
wonderful.
Love the cigar.
Excellent. And I've had a few of those, and they are, for a lighter cigar, they have a ton of flavor.
They absolutely
and
do.
a lot of lighter cigars don't have flavor.
No,
they just
they're
feel like,
just
what
kind
am I
of
smoking?
plain. Yes.
Yeah.
No, this is a very flavorful cigar.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I
That
absolutely love
seems to
it.
be the thing with Rockies.
Yes.
Lighter cigars, they still have a ton of flavor, where some other ones, you get the lighter one and it's just kind of,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Rocky really pulls the flavors out and just about everything.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
What are you smoking?
So I'm smoking the 2003, Rocky Patel 2003 vintage Cameroon. And
That blue label,
that blue label. And I like it in the mornings.
Yes.
Because it's kind of a milder, it's medium, but it's a little bit milder and not so super spicy and strong. But it's also one of my favorite finishers. If I've had a couple of cigars, then I like to finish with this one.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I notice all three of you are smoking a larger Vitola. What are those all Toros? It looks like.
Yes.
Those are good cigars. My wife enjoys flavored cigars, but she always likes some of the smaller ones, like the cigarellos and the petite Coronas and that kind of thing. I'm slowly getting her into the bigger cigars, and she's starting to enjoy them. But it's taken a minute.
Lately, I've been leaning towards Lanceros.
Oh yeah.
I really like a good Lancero. I've just become, when we're in a new cigar lounge, I look and see what I can find in a Lancero, and I've really enjoyed that size as well.
So Clyde over there at 2nd Street said Lanceros are called the connoisseur cigar because you can taste. Normally, when you got Toro or a Robusto or anything else, the filler it really is primarily all you get. But when you have a Lancero, you've got a better ratio of that wrapper binder to filler.
Absolutely.
So you get that wrapper and binder a whole lot more. So that's good. That's
I really like that size a lot.
Some good stuff. Fellas, we let the ladies go first. What are we smoking today?
Well, based on the episode, I am smoking a Aventura Queens Pearl, Lancero.
Yeah, got a
They're
Lancero.
queens,
There you
they're
go.
queens, but
Yeah,
women,
there you go.
There you go.
That's a good move. That's a
I love
good
it. I love it.
It's Ecuadorian.
It's theme. He went with the theme.
It's Ecuadorian, Connecticut, wrapper, binder, tobaccos, Nicaraguan, Dominican, and Ecuadorian.
Yeah.
It's a
yeah.
typical smooth,
nice blend.
creamy
Yeah,
Connecticut.
yeah, and it's a little bit lighter because of the Connecticut, but the pepper even kind of comes out
Yeah.
on it really well. Yeah,
No, I agree. I'm starting to really like Lanceros as well.
yeah, and you got to smoke them a little faster. That's the only difficulty for me because they go out if you don't smoke them a little bit quicker.
Yeah,
but
you
for
do have to
somebody
keep
who's
them
a
up.
naturally quicker cigar smoker, that's a good
That
for
would be
Dan.
me.
Do you smoke pretty quick?
I'm a faster
And
smoker.
I am too.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
very
Same.
leisurely.
She's very slow.
Yeah.
I'm very
Yeah.
slow.
Depends on what mood I'm in. I mean, if I'm anxious that day, I'm smoking
Don't
really
say it,
fast.
girl.
Depends on how much I'm talking.
There you
Yeah.
go.
6, 7, or 8, depends what cigar.
Yeah,
you're
depending on how many I've had today. Yeah, yeah. Dan, what do you got there? And I this is interesting because I didn't know you were smoking one, but we're smoking the same cigar.
Are we really?
Yeah, yeah,
So I guess we're smoking the same cigar. It is a Room 101 Hit and Run.
yeah.
We love that.
These are really good. I just got introduced to these a few weeks ago.
Here at Burn.
Here at Burn.
Yeah.
Actually bought a box.
Bought a box of it. And you got the Toros, didn't you?
I got the
Or did you
Gordos.
the Gordos?
I got
okay.
the
I got the Robustos. That's my
Which
favorite
this
size.
is a Toro, I believe, but the Gordo, because of the episode, I didn't want to light up a Gordo because I'd never finish it.
You might.
Even in my fast burn. But they're San Andreas Maduros with a Sumatra binder, and they have a blend in the filler, which is Nicaraguan, Pennsylvanian, and a Criollo 98.
Oh, yeah.
And I probably butchered that, so.
Yeah, that's all right. We know we're a bunch of rednecks on this show. Thank you, Ryan Fuller. We're a bunch of rednecks. We know it. We know it. But yeah, Matt Booth does a great job. I don't know who said that over here, but,
Yeah,
but Matt
we-
Booth does
we've all had
a great
that.
job.
Yes.
So hopefully you're smoking a good cigar as well. Let us know what you're smoking in the comments and tell us about what you enjoy smoking. So we've got these ladies on here for a purpose, and we didn't introduce you by name just a second ago, but we've got Patty, Karen, and Tina, all from a very special group. And before we go on, I got to throw something in here. Miss Tina, we met personally just a week ago or so,
yeah.
but I've heard of Tina. Many times because Tina used to work with my mom and dad, and when we started talking about this, my mom was like, Tina, oh, and she started putting two and two together,
Yes.
and so we've got a little bit of inter-family relationship there. So tell us a little bit about what y'all do and the reason we have you on the show.
Well, we all met here at Burn several years ago, and before the pandemic, there was a ladies' cigar club that was run here. Just like a lot of other things, the pandemic sort of wiped it out.
Yeah.
I've always had it in my mind, and that Ladies Cigar Club was pretty much specific to Burn, but as I got more involved in the cigar culture, I wanted to have a statewide Ladies Cigar Club. This is my post-retirement project, but I'm not retired.
Right.
But I didn't want to wait, and so Tina and Patty are probably my closest friends of our cigar sisterhood, and I visited with them, and I said, would you be my administrators and help me? I cannot do what I want to do with it by myself, and they said sure. So our group is called LACE, which is the Ladies Auxiliary of Cigar Enthusiasts of Oklahoma. I liked the word LACE, and I came up with Ladies Cigar Enthusiasts, and Patty said, back in the day, women's clubs were called auxiliaries.
Yes, yeah.
And if you look up the word auxiliary, it means to help and support. And that's what we want to do for new cigar smokers or women who, we meet a lot of women who say, well, I like to smoke cigars, but I feel like stick out like a sore thumb when I go into a lounge, and they are always surprised to find a group of ladies.
Yeah.
I call myself the Lace Luminary because the word luminary means to inspire.
Yes.
And to provide, again, information support. And that's how we got started. Patty does all of our social media, our Facebook page, and Tina is our ombudsman. She helped me with the legalese of getting things started and owning the name and the logo and all of that.
Good.
And we meet here once a month. I got into the cigar community because of Burn and because of Rocky, so we're always here once a month. On the first Tuesday, on the third Thursday, we go to another lounge.
Okay.
We've been to the Cigar Box, we've been to ZT, We've been to 2nd Street, Ash, Stag,
Yeah.
and give our ladies an opportunity to go to some other places.
Okay, so the first Tuesday you're here.
First Tuesday at 7 p.m. We
7
are
p.m.
always here.
So if
pretty
you're a
much
lady in the
without
Oklahoma
fail.
City area or within driving distance, come to Burn on the first Tuesday and you're going to meet these ladies in person. And then the third Thursday, that's a mouthful right
Yeah,
there. The
it's the
third
third
Thursday, you're traveling around.
We travel around,
yeah.
and it's on the Facebook
Awesome,
page. We also have a
awesome.
group chat in the WhatsApp chat,
Yeah.
and we blast that out there. But yeah, we want to help other ladies that either have been smoking or maybe
Yes.
their husband, or like in my case, my husband smoked cigars long before I did.
Yeah.
But then some women kind of want to, they're interested, but they're not sure. They group it in with cigarette smoking, which it is not.
Well, we're going to talk about that here in just a second.
And so that's why we're here. And I wouldn't be able to do it without these ladies. The three of us are run this. We have another lady that runs it with us. She couldn't be here today. Her name's April.
Yeah.
And April's probably our longest cigar smoking. I think she's been smoking for 20, 25 years.
Wow.
About 25
She
years.
started when she was 18.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah.
So she's our voice of sage wisdom of cigar
That's
smoking.
good. That's
I
good.
wish she could be here. I consider myself still new. I've been smoking cigars about 5 years.
Okay.
How long have you been smoking, Patty?
About the same amount of time.
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
I've been about 7 years.
Okay.
I mean, prior to, I started here at Burn, really getting into it. Prior to that, we would go camping with our friends, and they'd bust out the gas station.
The gas station cigars. Those black and mild Swisher Sweets.
Yep. Occasionally, kind of thing.
That was my
But,
start, Swisher Sweet.
But our son started coming here, and he said, "Oh, there's this great place you have to go try." So we came, and I started out with the sweet ones, just kind of break myself
Yep.
in, and little by little. But I found real fast that I enjoyed them.
You went to the top.
Yeah. I just,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
she
was
went straight there.
I just moved past everything else and went right for the dark ones because I just
Cool.
fell in love with the flavor.
Yeah.
And just everything about them.
Yeah, and not to bash anybody, we've joked about flavored cigars, but a lot of times a flavored cigar is masking a lower quality of tobacco, and that's fine because you're smoking for the sweetness, for the flavor, for the coffee, the whatever.
Oh, I knew that's gonna happen.
She's the first lady to do
I'm
it
the
on
first
camera.
one, dude.
normally Dan's our first one, or me.
I was trying to compete with
That's all
Patty
good.
over here because she's always got the big ash.
Enjoy though a sweet cigar
Yes.
at the end of the night. It's like dessert for me.
Yeah.
Or like in the morning at the house, if I go and sit up by the pool, have a cup of coffee.
Yes, ma'am.
Grab one of the sweet ones. That's a perfect little.
Now, when you talk sweet, are you talking the Drew
like the
Estate?
sisters. Yeah,
Like the sisters Drew Estate.
So,
Yes, yeah.
this is a little bone I picked. Those are not infused.
Oh,
That's
correct.
that's a difference.
Correct, yeah.
I
It's
love,
good tobacco.
I love all of those cigars. Every one of them. I have one with me today. And like Patty, there's a right time when I want that little bit of
Yes.
sweetness
Yeah.
when I'm smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
But those are
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
excellent quality
I never want
cigars.
sweetness.
She never wants it. Nope.
Don't like
We
it.
kindred spirits right here.
There's
Yeah.
a great one that you can get down in Key West that when you smoke it, it tastes just like a key lime pie.
Oh boy, that's interesting that you just brought that up. We just had a conversation with David Skelton in our last episode. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it, where he says that he was watching another channel, and the guy said that I'm getting hints of key lime pie in this cigar, and he called him out on it and said there's no way you are, and they had a conversation with it. So you're telling us this is amazing.
At my house, yeah.
You're telling us that there is a key lime pie cigar.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna have to get with David and talk about that. And it's sold there in
You know
Key
the name
West.
of it?
Sold in Key West.
Because we love Rodriguez cigars out of Key
I
West.
don't remember the name of it, but because we go to Key West
Yeah.
every February, and we go, we buy them, and
Yeah. Yeah. God, we
when
love
they're
Key
out, I ship
West.
them home,
That's
and-
excellent.
Yeah.
Have you tried Rodriguez cigars?
Which one?
Rodriguez?
No, I have not.
They're in Key West.
You can do a rolling class.
I know where that
in
place
there.
is. We plan on doing that
Yeah.
this year. We haven't done it yet
Yeah.
because what happens is this is going to be too much information, but it's right across the street from this place called the Tiki House.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Do the math.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Never make it across.
So-
we are going there this year because we definitely want to do that. Yeah, that's on our.
It's worth it.
December 2020, my wife and I had a cruise that got canceled, but our airfare couldn't get refunded. And so we flew into Miami, drove down to Key West, which is an amazing drive, spent the week in Key West, and we were already scheduled to do a hand rolling class at Rodriguez, but because it was in the midst of COVID, nobody else showed up.
Oh, you got
And
a
so
private
it was a
class.
private class for me and my
Nice.
wife from the
Very nice.
grandson of the couple that started
Very nice.
Rodriguez.
Yeah.
What an
And
experience.
he made us Cuban coffee, and I mean it was just this most amazing experience. And yeah, I highly recommend Rodriguez
That
cigars.
that is one of the things. It's one of the few things we have not done.
Yeah.
We've done all the tourist
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah.
We go for the month. We stay down there for
Oh,
the month.
wow.
So we've done
Wow.
all the tourist stuff. So now we look for, and that, like I said, that one's always been on our list, and it is going to happen this year.
It's a good deal. Good deal. It's worth it.
Definitely. But
Yeah.
yes, there is a
Very
Cuban
cool.
cigar.
Very cool. Karen, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
What do you do for a living?
I have been a registered nurse for coming up on 43 years.
Interesting.
Oh man. Interesting.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that interesting?
we knew that going into this.
I know.
So as a registered nurse, we talk about cigars all the time. We smoke cigars all the time. We've been joking about I'm trying to break my record today. We film 3 episodes at a time, 3 or 4 sometimes. Today we've got a cigar event after we film 3 episodes. I already had 1 cigar before we came here. I'm smoking probably 9 or 10 cigars today.
Okay.
What are the health risks? As a nurse, you get to see all kinds of stuff. You've probably studied very deeply into this because you enjoy a cigar. What are the health risks of smoking cigars? What should we be avoiding? How should we be doing this to be healthier? Is it the same as cigarettes? Is it? I mean, because they get lumped in. You said it earlier.
Right, yes.
They get
Right.
lumped in together. Tell us, kind of from your perspective as a nurse, what do you see?
So I could talk about this for a very long time. You'll probably need to edit me down a little bit. But I'm going to start with how I started my research journey. My husband had a membership here when they opened their doors here at Byrne. And in 2019, they had their 1-year anniversary. He won the grand prize of a free trip to Honduras to tour Rocky's
wonderful.
factory. And they came to me and
Wonderful.
said, you can go for just airfare, and other VIPs got to come. My husband's hearing impaired, and I'd been in Nicaragua many times in the mission field, but never took him with me as much as I wanted to because I didn't feel like I could watch him because I'm
Yeah.
busy when I'm there.
Yeah.
So I was thrilled to be able to go. I love South America.
Yeah.
And I went to make sure he was safe and that he was able to get whatever they were going to be talking about, because I sign and I speak enough Spanish to be dangerous. So I could just be sure he had what he needed. We went to the first place, which was where they were fermenting the cigars. It was so fascinating. Within 30 minutes, I didn't know where he was. I was like up in the front.
Yeah.
Like, I can't
Forget
hear
him.
them. Whatever,
I mean,
I'll tell you
yeah.
later. I was very engaged in every part of the process, the quality control that happens
Yeah.
there, the way Rocky takes care of his employees there. They are very devoted to him. He's devoted to them. They've been there for a long time. I'm just impressed by the whole thing. And I came home and I smoked cigars while I was there. And it was really the first time I'd smoked anything of that level.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to get involved. But as a registered nurse and the daughter of a chain smoker who had medical issues related to cigarette
Okay.
smoking, I thought I need to figure this out. So I spent some time in research. It's very difficult to find research
To find correct research.
for my population. So
Yeah.
what I found, there is an FDA study that's buried, and anyone else who's done research knows, if they're watching this, knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's the only study I found where the study participants had never smoked a cigarette, only smoked premium hand-rolled cigars, which now has a legislative definition. So
Yep.
it's not Swisher Sweets. It's not, what do you call them, black and
Black and mild.
Black and mild
Yeah.
costs $2. It's not that.
Yeah. It's not what you get at 7-Eleven. If it's at
No,
7-Eleven,
right.
it's not.
No,
it's
yeah,
not
if,
worth it.
if
Yeah.
you're spending less than $8 per cigar, that's not what that's. Then some of these go up to 20, 100, you know,
Oh,
we're in that range per cigar. So the cohort was people like that and that smoked 1 or 2 a day. And that explains me. I don't smoke every day. And
Yeah.
if I smoke 3 cigars in the evening, Tina's proud of me because I rarely get through 3. 2 is usually my max. That cohort, the list of things you see for cigarettes, heart disease, lung disease, circulatory problems, cancers, all of those things, the word they use, the increased risk to me, who I just described, the word the FDA used is nil. Nil. So now what it comes down to, and I'm very much in evidence-based medicine, evidence-based
Yeah.
practice, now it comes down to risk versus benefit.
Right,
Okay?
right.
April, who isn't here, is a counselor. And I told her one time, this is my Xanax without the side effects of Xanax.
Absolutely.
This is my relaxation at the end of the evening when I've had a tough day. During the pandemic, my husband and I would sit out back, smoke a cigar, have a bourbon, and by July of 2020, he's in disaster recovery, business continuity. We had the pandemic figured out, and if the president had taken our calls, we'd have been out of this by the end of 2020. because it was our conversations.
Yeah.
And so medically, I find the benefits much more of a higher level than the risks. It's not the same as cigarettes.
Well, say it louder for the people in the
Yes,
back.
and for people, and the thing is, if you read carefully what the research that tries to put this lumped in with cigarettes, if you read carefully, what they say is cigarettes have tobacco and nicotine. And so those are the things we've identified as causing all these things. Since this also has tobacco and nicotine, it must cause the same thing. But there's also nicotine in tomatoes.
Yes. Yeah.
And green bell peppers and eggplant. So one of my friends, I told that, she goes, oh, I'm addicted to tomatoes. What I believe in my research about addiction is it's not the nicotine, it's the nicotine delivery system. Because if someone challenged me and said, you can't smoke a cigar for 2 weeks, all right. Okay. I watched my mother the few times in her life that she had to not smoke because of being in the hospital.
Right.
I watched her shake.
Yeah.
I watched her withdraw.
Yeah.
I'll be cranky, but I won't withdraw.
Because you miss it. It's not the addictive thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I believe it's the addicting delivery system. The other thing, research that I found is when cigarettes were first being developed, it was like a cigar. You had to store it in a humidor or in the right environment. And they said, well, how can we give our cigarettes the shelf life of a Twinkie? And they went into the lab and threw over 500 chemicals at it. And now you can buy a pack of cigarettes. It's been at 7-Eleven for 15 years, and they're fine, but it's the chemicals. And I believe the chemicals in that is what makes it addictive. Yeah. And we know now that the cigarette makers have known that, but if I made a product and said, here, taste this cookie I made, and I knew you were going to get addicted, customer for life, I'm not going to tell you that there's a secret. Yeah. So those are the differences that I found. The other thing people are always baffled by is cigarettes you inhale, and cigars you don't. And there's actually a physiologic reason for that, because this is an alkaline product and a cigarette is acidic. They're on opposite ends of the pH scale. So your body doesn't want this inhaled, and trust me, I know from friends, if you
inhale it, you're in trouble.
Inhaled, your body's going to say, you just did something wrong, and I'm going to teach you not to inhale. So those are the differences that I found. And again, for me, it's relaxing. Yeah. It's a way to unwind. And my favorite thing that I like to say about it is it's a commitment to time.
Yes, it is.
Now, that's true for everybody, but for women in particular, we are someone's daughter, then we're studying in college, then we have our career, get married, have our children, and we're doing it all. You don't pick this up when you have 10 minutes between dinner and soccer practice.
No. You set aside an hour and a half.
When I light this, if I'm home by myself, last night I was home by myself, I sat out back under the pergola, I had my iPad to watch something, I was watching you guys on YouTube. I had a nice cigar. It's time for myself, hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah. If my husband's home and we go back out there, I've just committed to 2 hours to the most important relationship in my life. Yeah. If I'm with my girls, we're here for 3 or 4 hours. I've just spent 3 or 4 hours with women who I respect and admire, and some of our new members, I want to get to know them better. And women aren't good at that. And this commitment to time is so important in our lives to do that. And in our case here, it can be a commitment to time in the Word. Yeah. You're not going to be here for 10 minutes when you light a cigar.
Yeah, Steve did a short not too long ago about that. When you sit down and you have to dedicate that hour and a half, 2 hours to a cigar, a couple cigars, what better thing to do with your time than digging into the Word or building relationships in that fellowship? And that's a wonderful thing. Wonderful thing.
Absolutely.
So thank you for sharing that. And one thing I want to throw into that is when we talk about the cigarette versus cigar argument, you mentioned all the chemicals in the cigarette. The cigar has no chemicals.
Right.
It is only tobacco. Right. And which is a very natural product, and when you start adding all of those other things into it, that's what really messes up what God intended it to be. Because I fully believe that God intended cigars, the leaf, of the tobacco plant to be smoked. For all,
number
you did it,
2.
Tina. Another one down. Another one down.
Patty's the winner.
We have
Patty's
a winner.
We
Patty's
have a
the winner.
winner.
And she knew it. She's like, I'm gonna win this.
Yeah, she knew that. She's been nursing that.
That's awesome.
We know
That's
she's
awesome.
the champion.
Let me ask you one more question before we jump into our text for today. One of you briefly mentioned it earlier. The cigar lounge environment for a woman, that's a little different than the environment for a man. When you come to Burn or Stag or any other even cigar box over in Midwest City, when you go to a cigar lounge that has a bar, it's a little bit different because the bar attracts ladies as well. And when I worked at Stag, it was probably a 50-50 mix most nights of men and women. But when you go into a cigar lounge, that's just a lounge, we find it to be 90-95%, if not 100% men most of the time we're there. And so from your perspective, what are just a couple of things that you could tell the ladies that are interested in going to a cigar lounge and having that experience? What do they need to do to make that a better experience for them and to be more comfortable in the cigar lounge?
You want to take that?
Talk to people.
Just talk to people.
I mean, I was in Indianapolis Sunday through Thursday.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I went to a cigar lounge. They have a Burn there, actually. And I went to it all 4 nights I was there.
Oh, wow.
By myself. Nobody else was there. But I had great conversations
Yeah.
with people.
Yeah.
I've never, when I travel, and I travel quite a bit for work, and when I travel, I look for the nearest cigar lounge.
Yeah.
I go to it, and I always end up meeting interesting
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I always say I've never met an unhappy cigar smoker.
Amen.
When everybody's
Amen.
sitting there smoking their cigar,
Yeah.
we're all happy, we're all talkative, and just
Yeah.
visiting with each other, getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And for me, it doesn't bother me to go by and I was the only woman in the place a couple of nights, you
Yeah.
know, but it doesn't bother me
Yeah.
at all because you end up talking to people. And
Well, and it feels like a safer place.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
when you go
Very
just to a
much so.
random bar, you don't know what the
right.
history of that bar, what the type of people that go there. Not bashing anybody. I'll stop into a random bar when I'm out of town too.
Sure.
But for a lady, that could be a little bit more dangerous or a little bit more anxiety on that, right? And
Not the tiki bar.
the tiki bar down in Key West.
Well, I was going to say, Patty, I love to hear from Patty when she's back from Key West.
Yeah,
And one of my favorite stories is they have some place they go where they're outside and there's people walking. And she'll see the husband kind of go, there's a woman smoking a cigar. And she kind of gets
Yep.
a stink eye. She always wants to go, wait a minute, wait.
Like,
Yeah. And Patty always wants to go,
and I'll like come here like a little harder and a little faster. Before they're going to
Blow it in their face. No,
I would never
kid,
do
don't do that. Don't do that.
But yeah, I've noticed that, like, so especially when we're down in Key West.
Yeah.
Everybody there's on vacation, obviously, and there's one particular place we go to. All the seating is outside, and we just like to go sit there. We'll take books to read. We'll sit there for hours and just smoke. But people will walk by, and you'll see the men kind of gravitate toward it, and you'll see their wives pull them back.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
And I'm more like, hey, there's another cigar place up there. Let's go check that one out.
Yeah.
Because the environment is so different. We ended up falling into doing a commercial for the Robusto Cigar Lounge in Key West. We were just there one afternoon, and there was another group that was there out of Miami called Men of Smoke.
Okay.
And they just were there for a day trip with their wives and that, and there was a guy filming, but he was really interested in me because I was the only woman in there smoking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we ended up stumbling into doing a commercial for that.
That's awesome.
It was kind of
That's
funny,
awesome.
but I do notice that the women that are non-smokers and want nothing to do with that, they're always they will kind of turn their nose up at you, and they will look at you kind of weird. Now I'm the kind of person.
I don't care. Yeah.
Look at me however you want. I don't care.
I'm gonna tell you some
but
of the.
I will encourage, and I've actually gotten some women to try one. I'm like, well, why don't you just
give
try
it
one?
a
Why don't you
shot.
go pick one out for you?
Maybe
and
you
just
maybe you shouldn't
try it.
pick them out. Maybe somebody else should pick them out
No,
for
because
them.
I know
You pick out the strong ones. Yeah.
but I know when it's somebody that's never
I'm
smoked
just
before,
kidding.
I'll go
Right.
get them. I'll be like, let me just pick one out for you and give it a try. And they're like, well, I don't know how to smoke it. I'm like, I'll talk you through it. And that's always nice when there's another woman around that will,
Yes.
that
Yes.
will help you along the way.
Yeah.
and that's what we do with our group.
That's
When
good.
there's somebody.
That's so good.
But
That's so good.
Tina's absolutely right when she goes by herself. I think
Yeah.
that's real
That's
important
awesome.
because I'm usually with my husband. I don't have
Yeah.
opportunities to go alone.
Well, and that's one of the things I wanted to bring up is my husband. I got my husband into cigar smoking. It wasn't.
Oh
the
wow,
other way
that's
around. It was
that's
me that
awesome.
started it.
That's awesome.
But for all of us, That's my
There you go,
favorite
yeah.
time of day.
Yeah.
Is I come
Yeah.
home from work. He's retired, so I
Yeah.
come home from work. We grab a stick. We go to the back porch.
Yep.
And
Yep.
hang out
There it is.
and talk
Yeah.
about the day.
Yep.
And it's kind of a relationship builder. I
is.
mean, we
It
spend
is.
that quality time together without the TV on, without anything else going
Yep.
on, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just it's been really nice and something we just both really enjoy doing together. So.
I hate to get too sappy. I'm gonna agree with you 100%. One of my favorite times is at night, and it's usually 9 o'clock or so. My wife and I will go sit on the back patio, have a cigar, and we might not even say anything. We may just sit there smoking, holding hands.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
that kind, and
absolutely.
it's
wonderful.
we both live crazy lives right now. She's got a promotion where she's going 100 miles an hour at work. You know, we've been doing Cigar Church. I've started a new church on the south side, doing all the. I mean, I've been going 100 miles an hour, and just to not have anything to do but be present with each other.
Yes.
And cigars have allowed that, because if not, we would just be sitting in the living room watching TV.
Or I'd be making dinner and he
yeah,
could do,
yeah.
you know, just
And so
go
it's just
other
this
ways.
bonding time. So amazing. So
When you
amazing.
talk to people that their marriages didn't work out, oh, we grew apart.
Yeah, you
You're
don't
not
grow
going to
apart
grow
when
apart
you're.
if you spend an hour or two together
Absolutely.
almost every day.
Absolutely.
And like you said, you can talk about your really busy work day.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk about something you saw in the news, or you can not talk at all. We've had evenings
Yeah.
like that where we just,
Yeah,
are
just sit
enjoying
there
our
and just
cigars and just being with each other.
Yeah. And so, ladies,
valuable.
if your husband is a cigar smoker and he's making you watch this episode, good for him and good for you. And join if you can join your husband
us
with a
up on
cigar. But we also know that there are some wives that have asthma. There's some wives that for whatever reason can't,
I
and we
have
get that. Well, let's give them a break for just a second.
Come on, come talk to me.
Go sit with them and spend time with them. Be intentional. If you don't want to have a cigar, we don't want to force you to have a cigar. We don't want to guilt you into having one. But if your husband is going out back and having a cigar, go sit with him with a book or something, and just sit and spend that time with him and make it worth it. And so
the
the
other
two of
thing
you
I'd
are
like
using
to
that.
add to that about, you know, if you know, you as a woman, you just don't want to smoke, but your husband wants to go to a lounge like here.
Yes.
The ventilation system is amazing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not
it
like
really
you
is.
know, going to the bars back in the 80s where the cigarette
Yeah,
smoke
and your
was
eyes
so
are
heavy
burning and-
it will burn
yeah.
and everything. The ventilation systems in here are so amazing. You really don't even notice
Yeah.
the smoke.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. That's one of the
Yeah.
things I really like.
That's awesome.
Is,
That's
you know,
great.
the ventilation
That's great.
systems in these places are incredible. But it's also
Yeah.
why we don't smoke in our house. We
Yeah.
go
Right.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it's, you know, really cold in Oklahoma, we'll just bring the portable heater out.
Exactly.
Set it
Exactly.
up
Fire
and
pit.
wrap up in
Yep.
a blanket.
Yep.
I do have a few blankets that will burn holes. Just wrap up in a
Yeah.
blanket, but still just sit out there and enjoy it. Or worst case scenario, go sit in the hot tub.
Yeah, oh, there you go. That's worst case scenario.
Yes.
Come on now. Come on now. That is my absolute favorite place, is a hot tub with a drink and a cigar.
Absolutely.
I mean, absolutely.
Well, you brought up a great point. Back in the day, when you thought about going to a lounge where there's smoking, it was the majority of it cigarette smoke. In a cigar lounge, you'll find almost no cigarette smokers.
and a lot of them abandoned.
Right.
And it's
Right, a lot of them
and it's
can't, yeah.
not only the ventilation system, but the smoke is different. It's not that toxic, burn
Yes.
your eyes. You said
Yeah.
cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
So if you're hesitant to come with your husband to a cigar lounge,
Yeah.
take a chance. No one's going to force you to smoke, but sit and enjoy time
Yeah.
with your husband. Meet
Absolutely.
some friends. If
And
you come
if you-
here, meet us.
And at a lounge, at a cigar lounge, it may be the only place where you see a little judgment is when everybody's sitting around smoking a cigar and somebody lights up a cigarette.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 That's
Faces are
the
all
stink
like-
eye.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Try not to make anybody not welcome, but
One thing I love about cigars, we've talked about this on other episodes, the cigar is a great equalizer. And we haven't talked about it as much about the equalizing of genders in the cigar lounge. We've talked about whether you're Republican or Democrat, rich or poor, black, white, whatever. When you sit in a cigar lounge, having just a cigar in your hand equalizes everybody. Everybody becomes one, and it does that as well for the ladies. There isn't this division between men and women in the cigar lounge because you guys are enjoying a great cigar just like we are. And in some cases, I think it for men, it intrigues us a little bit. Oh, these wonderful women are here smoking a cigar too, and it elevates the way we see you guys in many cases. One of the things I want to talk about as we address that is one of my favorite texts in Scripture. Now, let me give you a little bit of background for those of you listening at home. This text is from Galatians chapter 3. And the author of this text, a guy named Paul, had gone and started a number of churches all throughout kind of Eastern European states and throughout the Middle East. And he's writing this letter to one of his churches that he started. And one of those issues 2,000 years ago is one of those issues that happens today, is this idea of I'm better than somebody else because of who I am, my position, because of my gender or whatever. And he says this in the middle of the text. He says in Galatians 3, starting in verse 28, he says, there is neither Jew nor Greek, which was a big division, especially for the Jewish people. From the start of the Jewish community, there was this idea of Jews and Gentiles. Either you were a Jew or you were not. But at this point, when Paul's writing this, the Greeks were in power. The Roman Empire had come into power, and the Romans and the Greeks were kind of interchangeable by name. And he's saying, look, there's no Jew nor Greek. This is a political statement. That regardless of who you are politically, neither one matter. And then he says there's neither slave nor free, which is a socioeconomic equalization. And then he says this, neither male nor female. And this is where this is really important as we talk about this in the Cigar Lounge. Women 2,000 years ago had very little rights at all, any more rights than a possession in the household would have. And in that day and age, women were suppressed and just thought of as nothing more than cattle, or nothing more than something that they own and could be put aside. Mm-hmm. And for Paul to be telling the church this, for the Christian church to be some of the first people to add value to women. This was a dynamic that had never even been considered before. Now, in Jewish culture, there was a level of it, but Paul's taking it to a whole nother level and saying, as a follower of Christ, there's no male nor female. That's not a gender statement saying there's no genders. What that's saying is there's not one gender that is more important than the other. Mm-hmm. There's not one gender that is to hold the other one down and to oppress the other one. That if you're a female in the church, you are as equal value as a man in the church. And what I love about that is we see that in the Cigar Lounge too. Mm-hmm. And so oftentimes when I'm talking to people about why would a pastor be in a Cigar Lounge, why would a pastor be doing Bible studies in a Cigar Lounge? Should you not be doing that? I'm like, look, the Cigar Lounge actually has a lot of things right that the church in today is missing. And that's that equality of genders, that's that equality of race, and the fellowship that we give. We often call it Brothers of the Leaf, but it's really just people of the leaf, where we all come together and we're bound by something very special, and that's the cigar. And I just love this text in context with everything that we're talking about today. So what are y'all's thoughts on it, guys and girls?
Well, when you look at our ladies club, when Patty did this the other night, Tina and I also, when we're here and we see a woman smoking a cigar, mm-hmm. we will go talk to them mm-hmm. about that. Mm-hmm. And when they're hesitant to come, I always tell them you will meet an incredible group of women of all different mm-hmm. backgrounds. Yeah. We've got single mothers, we've got married women, divorced women, we have women in their 20s, we have women in their 60s. We have working women, we have all different sizes, shapes, colors, all individuals. Yeah. But when we're at our Ladies Cigar Club, we are a sisterhood.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
At my age, when I moved here, I'm from Los Angeles, mm-hmm. and when I moved here, somebody warned me that it's going to be a little difficult to make friends with women in Oklahoma, because a lot of Oklahomans are born and raised here, and their girlfriends are because the mothers were college roommates.
Yes.
It's like they have deep, deep roots. Not that Oklahoma women aren't friendly, they're perfectly friendly and welcoming, but if you're not from here and you meet a group of women that have all been together since kindergarten, you just have to work a little harder.
Yes.
At our Ladies Cigar Club, we're all one, and I never thought at this stage of my life that I would have a group of women in my life that if I had something tragic happen and I let these girls know, they would drop everything to be at my house. Yes. And vice versa. When something tragic happens, when someone has a need, we get together and say, what are we going to do?
Yeah, that's
let's serve these women.
That's beautiful.
And they're all different. And there was one young lady that I saw her here quite often, And every month would go by and she wouldn't come. And she's like, I wouldn't know anybody but you. And I said, honey, if you come, you'll talk to me for about 5 minutes. And then you're going to go around that table and they're going to come around and meet you. You'll meet someone who's in your industry, or you'll meet somebody who has kids your age, or you'll meet, and you'll make friends immediately. Immediately.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's such a diverse group, and that's one of the things I'm proudest of, because I wish our country was more like that, where we're not divided. And we've got, sitting at this seat right here, we are different political aspirations, different beliefs, different opinions, but I would do anything for these women, and they would for me.
That's the way it should be.
And same like you said in the cigar lounge, when you do walk in and it's mostly men, you can tell by the looks that it's, oh, there's a woman with a cigar. It's sort of almost a curiosity. We're like, yeah, here we are. We're here. We enjoy it as much as you do. We have our taste. Like I said, these two like the darker, stronger, deeper cigars. My flavor's a little different. And that's the other thing I like about cigars when we talk about brands. You can find a cigar that you smoke and you're like, I will never smoke that again. It might be her favorite.
Talked about that.
That doesn't make it a bad cigar. I'm not going to trash it.
It's just not for you.
It's just not for me. It's like food. It's like anything else. Yes, anything else. So in my opinion, there's no really bad cigar. It's just not for me.
Awesome.
And vice versa. But
Unless you go to 7-Eleven.
Unless you go to 7-Eleven.
Well, no, I'm talking premium handles. When I say cigar, it's a premium handled cigar always. But
Case in point to what a family it can create.
Yes.
2 years ago, my father died very unexpectedly.
Sorry.
We did not see it coming, and they all knew him. And I let her know, and she showed up at my house at 9:30 that night just to give me a hug. And then, like, none of my family is here. My husband's here. My son is here. So my family was obviously going to be coming.
I'm gonna go back a little because she messaged only me, and we have a group text that are men and women. And she said, I'm not going to put in the group text because not a lot of people. Some of you knew my dad, but nobody knew my dad. I said, Patty, everybody loves you.
Exactly.
Please let me tell them, so we can take care. They would. They know you. They don't have to know your dad. A lot of us did know her dad and loved her dad, but a lot of the people in the group didn't. So she was hesitant to put it out there. I said, no, you've got to let me.
And by the time my family got here, I mean, we ate for days because of this group. I mean, they just provided everything for us. And they were just so there.
Good for you
guys.
guys.
You know, like I said, even for the people that, a bunch of them had met my dad, because everybody would come over to the house, hang out at the pool, smoke cigars. They got to know him really well, but it's that family that gets built. And that's why you should never be able to walk into a place like this, because you don't know who you're going to meet and the relationships that are going to be formed. It's such a non-judgmental place.
That's awesome.
And that is the thing that I think about cigar smoking that has been the most important thing for me, is it's provided me this other family, because I'm big on family. Family's a big thing. I come from an Italian family, so you know how they can get. But it's just like this big family. And the support is there, and there's, like I said, zero judgment. And like I said, everybody's equal.
That's amazing.
Everybody's on a level
Good for
playing
you.
field. And I'll notice when I come here by myself, like if my husband's out of town, I'll come over and I'll just sit up at the bar and I'll get a drink and I'll have a smoke. And if there are men sitting at the bar, they kind of look at you like, okay, she's here by herself. And then they're like, well, what are you smoking? It's not,
you can always start that.
There's none of that, like,
always start with that.
on you, but it's always, what are you smoking? You know, what is it that brought you in here? Because men seem to be fascinated by women that will come in here by themselves. But it just creates the word.
I'm sure you get that too.
I mean, I can say family, but it's a community.
Yes, it is.
And it's a solid community.
It really is.
Yes, it is. Well, great. Guys, do you have any other questions? We need to be wrapping up. I don't mean to cut you off.
That's all right.
But we need to be wrapping up.
One other thing I want to say is that when we started this, I would have been happy if these two ladies and a couple of other my close friends, if they were the only ones that ever came, I would have been happy. But I really wanted it to grow, and it grew pretty quickly. And when we come, we always tell our ladies that your significant other is welcome to come. The guys come, but they have to sit. They don't sit with us.
They're secluded back in the corner.
And after our first 2 months, one of the guys in that group started talking to the guys and said, well, Kieran's got that all organized and they get together. We need to do that. So now there's a men's group that go to dinner once a month.
Good.
We're not invited. But now they have formed this
awesome.
family.
That's awesome.
And you know, we love that we smoke with our husbands, but men need to be with men, women need to be with women for certain parts of their lives that they can talk about and bond over. And I love that has sort of developed as an annex to what we've been doing. It's given our men, even though we come here anyway, but just to have that once a month thing, they know they're all going to be there.
Good.
And so they've grown their little group as well.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, we have had just an amazing time getting to talk with you guys. I think I can speak for all of us. We need to have you guys back on again to keep digging into this.
We'd love to be here. Absolutely.
And we've only had one repeat guest, so that's an honor.
To ask you guys in. We're so grateful you invited us. So thank you so much for having us.
If
he does say so himself.
What's that?
It's an honor if you do say so yourself.
Yeah, if I do. Yeah, it's an honor to be on our show.
She told some people that she was going to be doing a podcast today. They were just like, when I told my son, he was like,
what? You're doing it? Yeah, don't tell your son we've only got like 250 subscribers, but that's okay. We're getting there. We're building it up.
We can build that.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. So we look forward to having you guys on another time.
We would love to be here again. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
You guys reach out to them if you're in Oklahoma City. Come and see them the first Tuesday.
First Tuesday
and third Thursday. But come find them first Tuesday so you know, or go to their Facebook page, LACE, Ladies Auxiliary of Cigar Enthusiasts.
And we'll put the link in the
comments.
And there's actually quite a few men have joined the Facebook page.
Good.
I have friends, one of my best friends from high school knew I was passionate about this. She's never smoked a cigar, has no intention to. She lives in Texas. And 30 minutes after the Facebook page went live,
she's on it.
She texted me and she goes, "Is it okay that I joined?"
Yes.
I'm like, of course. So I have friends from high school that have joined. There's my husband, other men have joined, husbands, or because they're interested to share with their wives. So come look for us on Facebook. Patty always keeps up with what we're doing. And I haven't been as good at it because I do have a full-time job, but I do try to post educational pieces.
Good.
That's one thing that we also have a component of. So,
excellent.
That was fun.
Dan, what do you always tell us, brother?
If you like the channel, make sure you subscribe, tickle the bell icon to be notified when new videos drop. Yep, tickle the bell.
We're going to harass you for the rest of your life.
Oh, well.
That's how you get notified.
I'm dying on that hill.
That's all right.
Steve, what do you got, brother?
That's your next shirt. Tickle the bell.
That's 2 episodes in a row somebody has said you need a shirt.
I'm putting that on the
hashtag
tickle the bell.
It's going on the store this week.
We're putting it on Facebook and we link them. We'll link you on our Facebook page as well.
Cool.
If you got any prayer requests, put in the comments or email us at contactcigarchurch@gmail.com or stevecigarchurch@gmail.com.
Awesome. And as always, smoke a fine cigar to the glory of God. We will catch you next week.